Hey everyone, welcome back to Gale at Night. All right, y'all, let's get into this because what just dropped from Congress has everybody talking again about one name that never seems to go away: Jeffrey Epstein. House Republicans have finally released over 23,000 pages of documents from Epstein's estate. And it's not just the size of that dump that's wild, it's what came with it and when. Now, this massive release happened just hours after Democrats dropped some of the same emails, including one that suggested Donald Trump might have known more about Epstein's sex trafficking operation than he's ever admitted. Let's break this down. So, the documents came from a subpoena issued by James Comer, who's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. They've been sitting on these files since August, and only now, after months of delays, they're suddenly public. 2 hours after Democrats released their own batch of emails, then boom, Republicans post everything online. Coincidence? Probably not. In one of those emails, Epstein himself wrote that Trump, quote, spent hours at my house with one of his victims. Now, that's a statement that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows and questions. These emails don't paint a flattering picture of Trump at all. Some of Epstein's friends and associates were out here calling Trump's 2019 financial disclosure 100 pages of nonsense. And Epstein, this is from 2018. Epstein told former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers that Trump was, quote, borderline insane. So it's giving chaos and denial, not innocence and distance. Now let's talk about the politics behind this because it gets messy. House Republicans are basically walking a tightrope right now. On one hand, they want to protect Trump, his image, his voters, his influence. But on the other, their own base has been demanding full transparency about Epstein's connections with all powerful people, not just the ones they don't like. So Republicans had to make a move. Releasing this mountain of documents might be their way of saying, see, we're not hiding anything. But Democrats are calling it a distraction tactic, a political smokescreen to drown out those specific emails about Trump. Because let's be honest, 23,000 pages dropped all at once. That's not about clarity. That's about chaos. Let's get a little bit into the details. So, who actually had these documents? Well, they came straight from Epstein's estate, requested back in August by the Oversight Committee as part of their investigation into Epstein, Ghislaine, Maxwell, and how the government handled those cases. And here's something interesting. One name that keeps popping up in the emails is Michael Wolff. You might know him as the author who's written a bunch of books on Trump and politics. Apparently, Wolff was acting as an advisor for Epstein. In a 2016 email, he told Epstein, and quote, I believe Trump offers an ideal opportunity. Becoming an anti-Trump voice gives you a certain political cover you don't have now. That's fascinating because it shows how Epstein was trying to play both sides, positioning himself politically even while facing serious accusations. Now about Trump, because his name comes up a lot in these documents, some of the mentions are personal, some are business related. For example, there's a message where someone reaches out to Epstein about a deal involving his Boeing 727, saying they used to work for Trump. While not everything is scandalous, the fact that Trump's name keeps showing up over and over is gonna keep fueling questions in how close these two men really were before their fallout. Meanwhile, Congress is back in session this week after a 2-month break, and of course, the government shutdown drama is still going. But Speaker Mike Johnson has been trying to keep a lid on another issue. the growing bipartisan demand for even more Epstein documents. Some lawmakers want the FBI and the DOJ to release everything they've got, not just what came from Epstein's estate. And that could be where this goes next, because there's already a discharge petition floating around that could force a vote to make the Trump administration release its investigative files on Epstein. So buckle up. This story's not over. Here's the bottom line, y'all. What happened today wasn't just about transparency. It was about timing and damage control. Republicans are trying to protect Trump while also satisfying a public that's been demanding answers about Epstein's ties to powerful men across politics, finance, and entertainment. Democrats, on the other hand, are making sure people don't forget that Trump's name isn't just floating around these emails. It's embedded in the story. We don't know yet everything that's inside those 23,000 pages, and let's be real, it'll take weeks for journalists to go through all of it. But one thing's for sure, this release just opened another chapter in the Epstein saga that a lot of people hope was closed. And trust me, when you start seeing headlines popping up everywhere over the next few days, remember these drops are strategic. Pay attention not to just what comes out, but when it comes out and who it benefits. So do you think this release was about transparency or just a distraction? Because honestly, both might be true. Drop your comments down below. I'll be happy to hear from you. This is Gail at Night. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for supporting. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and set the bell to all.